Imagine a tiny horse, raised not by its own kind, but by 3 loyal dogs. A story so unexpected, it will make you rethink everything you know about love, belonging, and what truly makes a family. What happened next is unbelievable. So if you're ready for a heartwarming journey across fields, friendships, and the most unlikely bond you'll ever hear of, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to share your favorite moments in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Once upon a time, deep in the quiet hills of Willow Creek Valley, a newborn Mustang Foal was found alone, shivering beside his lifeless mother. The morning was cold, the wind sharp, and hope seemed lost. A young rancher named Eli stumbled upon the scene after hearing a soft, desperate cry echoing through the valley. There, lying on the ground, was a golden-colored colt, barely hours old and completely helpless. Without hesitation, Eli scooped up the trembling foal and carried him back to his small cabin at the edge of the woods. He had no experience raising horses, only the company of his 3 loyal companions. Max, a wise German shepherd, Bruno, a gentle golden retriever, and Scout, a playful border collie who never missed a beat. Eli didn't know what else to do, so he tried bottle-feeding the foal, expecting the dogs to just watch from afar. But something incredible happened. Max stepped forward first, licking the foal clean like he were one of his own pups. Bruno curled up next to the baby, sharing his warmth. And Scout, he stood guard, alerting Eli every time the little one made a sound. They had accepted this strange, long-legged creature as one of their own. Eli named him Sky for the bright star-shaped marking on his forehead. As days turned into weeks, Sky began to grow fast. But more than his body, it was his behavior that surprised everyone. Sky started mimicking the dogs. When they barked at strangers, he tried to bark too, producing a funny mix of neighs and barks that made Eli laugh out loud. During mealtime, instead of standing proudly like a horse, Sky waited patiently in line with the dogs, expecting his turn for food. At playtime, Sky loved playing fetch. Eli would throw a tennis ball, and Sky would gallop after it, trying to catch it with his mouth. He'd bring it back, drop it at Eli's feet, and wait eagerly for another toss. At night, instead of sleeping upright, Sky curled up right in the middle of the dog pile. By the time Sky was 3 months old, he wasn't just living with the dogs. He was one of them. He scratched behind his ears with his hind leg, tried to lift his leg when he went to the bathroom, and even followed the dogs everywhere like a loyal pack member. Neighbors thought it was cute at first, then confused, then amazed. Dr. Naomi Reyes, the local vet, came to see the legend herself. She watched Sky bark at passing cars, sit when told, and even roll like Scout did, awkwardly flopping to the side and wiggling around. "He's imprinted on them," she said. "In his mind, he is a dog." And yet, Sky grew. At 6 months, he was already bigger than all 3 dogs combined. Still, during thunderstorms, he tried squeezing into the doghouse, half his body sticking out while lightning lit up the sky. Eli couldn't help but smile. Sky was part of the pack, through and through, but things changed one day. While grazing near the fence, Sky saw a group of wild horses cross the distant ridge. 12 strong, led by a proud stallion. Sky stopped mid-step. His ears perked up, his eyes widened, and he looked to Max for direction. The dogs barked instinctively at the strangers. Sky joined in with his unique bark-neigh combo. The wild horses paused, confused. One mare stepped forward, snorted politely. Sky responded like a dog, sniffing her rear end. The mare pinned her ears and squealed. Sky jumped back, hiding behind Max like a scared puppy. It was heartbreaking and hilarious. Sky didn't recognize them. To him, these weren't his kind. They were strangers. He tried playing tug-of-war with a stick. The young horses didn't understand. They offered mutual grooming. Sky play-bowed. Nothing matched. Finally, Dr. Naomi arrived to observe. "This is species dysphoria," she explained. "Sky doesn't identify as a horse. To him, these animals are as foreign as deer." The meeting ended with Sky retreating to the barn, flanked by a protective pack. For days afterward, Sky lingered by the fence, watching the herd. He made soft, unfamiliar sounds, Ray Allhorse calls, then stopped himself, almost guiltily, and returned to barking. Eli noticed changes. Sky began experimenting with horse behaviors. He'd trot like the wild ones, then switch back to his bouncing dog gallop. He tried grazing like a horse, but still brought grass to Bruno like a gift. Then came the accident. Sky hurt his leg jumping off a rock, something the dogs could do easily. Dr. Naomi sat down with Eli. "He's getting too big to keep acting like a dog," she said gently. "We need to teach him how to be a horse without losing who he is." Her idea? Introduce Sky to an older therapy horse named Ben, calm, patient, and used to working with troubled animals. Ben arrived the next week. Sky approached him like he did any new animal, tail low, nose forward, ears curious. Instead of being startled, Ben simply lowered his head in greeting. No rejection, just acceptance. Over time, Ben became Sky's translator. He taught Sky how to greet properly, how to graze together, even how to whinny like a real horse. Sky's first real whinny was shaky, unsure, but Ben encouraged him. The dogs cheered. Max even barked approval. Sky had found a bridge between two worlds. By autumn, Sky had become fluent in both languages, dog and horse. He'd bark at the mailman, whinny to greet Ben, and carry sticks in his mouth, like always. Soon word spread. Reporters came. Visitors lined up. People called him a horse who thinks he's a dog. Or maybe the dog who thinks he's a horse. Either way, Sky was special. So special, in fact, that a sanctuary far away reached out. They had orphan foals, traumatized, withdrawn, refusing to bond. Could Sky help? After a hard goodbye, Sky traveled to the sanctuary. He played with the foals like a dog, rolling, wiggling, offering comfort. Slowly, the foals warmed to him. He introduced them to horse ways, showing them how to graze, how to groom, how to trust again. He even shared his hay like he used to share treats with Bruno. Sky helped 12 foals find homes. But as time passed, Eli noticed something. Sky was becoming more horse, less dog. He missed his pack. So when Max fell ill, Eli called the sanctuary. Sky came home. The reunion was emotional. Sky bounded out of the trailer, whinnying for Ben, then barking when he saw his dogs. Max struggled to stand, tail wagging weakly. Sky dropped beside him, nuzzled him gently. He stayed by Max's side for days. When Max finally passed, Sky stood over him, making a sound none had heard before, a mournful blend of grief and loyalty. At Max's burial under the old pine tree, Sky bowed his head. He had lost a leader. But soon, Sky stepped up. He became protector of the pack. He patrolled the land. He comforted Bruno and Scout. He even taught Bruno's new puppy how to herd. Hilariously enough, like a horse teaching a dog. The sanctuary called again. The foals needed Sky. Jake was torn, but then Dr. Naomi had an idea. Why not create a healing center at Eli's ranch? A place where horses could learn from Sky, and Sky could stay with his family. So, the cross-species healing ranch opened its gates. Sky worked with traumatized horses, using his hybrid approach. Dog play, horse instincts, and a whole lot of heart. Children came too. One girl, Emma, hadn't spoken in months after an accident, but when Sky dropped a tennis ball at her feet and Play bowed, she giggled. Then she spoke. Good boys. Veterans, kids on the spectrum, seniors, all found healing in Sky's unique presence. Years later, as the sun dipped below the hills of Willow Creek Valley, Sky trotted toward Eli with a stick in his mouth, tail swishing awkwardly. Behind him, a once-scarred mare Play bowed to a puppy. Sky dropped the stick, let out his signature bark neigh, and curled up with his pack for the night. Moral lesson asterisk. Family isn't about species or what others expect. It's about love, acceptance, and the courage to be exactly who you are,